tell me about the vaccine-preventable disease, HPV or human papillomavirus?
Not too much. I know that it's bad and that only girls can get it. So, yeah.
Do you know how it's related to cervical cancer?
No, but I know that it is related.
Okay. So you do know that there is a vaccine for this disease?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you receive the vaccine for this disease?
No, I did not receive it because when it came out, I was like really young and it was new. And my doctor didn't want to give it to his patients.
Okay.
Because it was so new.
So now that it's, I think it's about, now that it's about 10 years old, if you have daughters that are of age to get the vaccine, will you get them vaccinated?
I don't know. I'll see over the years. I mean, it is 10 years old, so any effects I imagine would have like come out by now, but we'll see by the time they're of age, if anything bad has come from it. But if it's only good, then yeah, we'll give it to them.
Okay, and have you ever heard any myths surrounding the HPV vaccine, such as negative myths?
Yeah, I've heard like a mix of both.
Okay, what if I told you that almost everybody gets HPV at some point during their life, and the most prominent strains of HPV cause about 70% of all cases of cervical cancer? Would you consider possibly getting the vaccine?
Yeah, I would consider it.
And the vaccine itself has been shown to be about 95% effective. Would that change your...
That would change it. Not for me, but for my kids.
Do you know about the vaccine-preventable disease, HPV, or human papillomavirus?
I know that it can be sexually transmitted and is more prevalent in females than males, and it can lead to cervical cancer.
Okay. So do you know about the Gardasil vaccine?
Yes.
Did you receive the Gardasil vaccine?
Yes, I did.
All 3 doses?
All 3 doses.
Okay. So do you think that it's a good thing that you got the vaccine?
I think so because there have been studies that showed that it is effective, so I'd rather be protected.
So if you have daughters who are of age to get the vaccine, are you going to take them to get the vaccine?
Yes, I would.
What about sons?
I don't actually know anything about the vaccine for males, so I don't know.
Okay. Have you heard any myths or any negative facts about the HPV vaccine?
Yeah, well, some people think that the vaccine can actually give you HPV.
Do you think that's true?
No.
Okay. What if I told you that 50% of males actually have HPV and that they are the most common way that women actually get HPV? Would you take your son to go get the vaccine then?
Yes, absolutely.
So to summarize some quick facts about human papillomavirus, it is the most common sexually transmitted viral infection in the United States, and it is also a vaccine-preventable disease. It does infect both men as well as women, and most people are asymptomatic for the infection, meaning that many of them don't actually know that they have it. It is also highly associated with cervical cancer development in women. However, there is a vaccine known as Gardasil, which is available, and it is recommended for boys as well as girls. It is effective for the 4 most common types of HPV, 16, 18, 6, and 11, and these types of HPV are most known to cause cervical cancer development in women later on in life. So the Gardasil vaccine was introduced in 2006, and only after 4 years, there was a decrease in HPV instances by 50%, even though the vaccination rate by the year 2010 was only about 20 to 40% in the United States. So this data shows that an increase in vaccination rates will continue to decrease the incidence of HPV infection in the United States. However, there are still some myths surrounding the vaccine, the first of which being that the HPV vaccine can cause cancer in people who get the vaccine. However, there is no actual virus contained in the vaccine, only proteins, so there is no possible way that it could cause cancer in an individual. The second being that the HPV vaccine promotes sexual activity in people who get it. However, studies have been done and there has been no correlation found between people who get the HPV vaccine and an increase in sexual activity. finally, the third myth would be that the HPV vaccine doesn't need to be given to boys. However, they can act as vectors transmitting the infection to girls, and it can also cause infection and cancer in themselves. So it is recommended that boys as well as girls do get the HPV vaccine. And as can be seen by the interviews done by Quinnipiac students, an increase in education about the HPV vaccine would probably lead to an increase in vaccination rate and a decrease in infection rate